Got Mr. Akinwale Laosun, who is the governorship candidate of Africa Action Congress, AAC, for Oyo State. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Oh, thank you for having me on the show, Chamberlain. Anaya.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, just looking through, we know that it's going to be a different ball game.
Definitely.
Entirely in Oyo State.
Oyo State, yeah.
But the thing is, if you look at how your party, your candidate performed in the presidential election, that certainly won't give you any hope, will it?
If you go by the results that we have seen, yeah, people may come up to that conclusion, and I think that is a bit premature, because we have to see what obtains on ground at the moment. I can tell you, the electorates are tired of the two parties that we have had ruling Oyo State in the last 16 years.
In the state or in the country?
In the state. I'm focusing on Oyo State at the moment.
But we had politicians who said the same thing before the presidential election, but the results showed otherwise.
There's a lot of issues that we can look into because, number one, we have vote buy, which is getting very sophisticated at the moment. Number two, the parties who have been in power, they've mastered what I call the psychology of poverty. And what they do is that, you say, I say to people everywhere I go, they intentionally make our people poor so that when it comes to the time of election, they have no option. And if you understand the way I speak about this psychology of poverty is, you have to meet the moment someone comes, you're poor, you have a need, and the next money you have or whatever is being offered to you, you use it to meet your next need.
So it's a challenge for the people then?
It's a challenge for the people.
Why do you think you will win, or why are you contesting this election in Oyo State?
I want to tell you that, one, the reason why I think God-fearing people, one, must come out for this election. That's why I'm out. Compassionate people must come out, and people are not about themselves. And I represent those three people, and that's why I've come out for this election. Nigeria cannot continue, or Oyo State cannot continue the way we are going. Things are going down the drain, and some of us who love this country and who love the state or the city where we grew up, we cannot sit back and just complain or analyze darkness. There's a Chinese adage that says, instead of complaining about the darkness, light a candle. And I believe that's what people like me are doing. And if we don't start now, we talk about tomorrow. We always say that tomorrow will be better, tomorrow will be greater. But I tell people that tomorrow starts from today. If we don't get involved today, how would we be able to change tomorrow?
Okay, you said the other time that these two leading political parties have mastered the
I call it
psychology of poverty.
Of poverty.
And in other words, politics has been monetized.
Yes.
How can you change the narrative knowing that these people are really poor and the next meal is just good enough?
We're educating a lot of people at the moment, I must confess. And for me to have come out is not just because I felt I could do it.
Educating them to what end?
In terms of, A, don't sell your vote. Because let me say to you, and this is one thing I say to everybody out there, when we go out to the polls to vote, we're not choosing a leader, we are deciding how the next 4 years of our lives are going to be. And if you could wake up to that reality that, what's up 4 years or what's up 48 months do I want to see?
Is that education paying off?
It's working. It's working. Unfortunate thing about it, why it's slow at the moment, and I'll be very honest, is that a lot of people who we're getting to, some of them are still yet to take their register for voting. They don't
have their PVCs?
A lot of people. And those who have not collected, because sometimes it becomes almost impossible to collect. I tell you, for example, I have relatives who registered, but up to now, I've not collected.
I never usually have meetings with stakeholders.
I was in one yesterday.
Did you raise these issues with INEC?
We do raise it all the time, and all of these things are mentioned.
What did they say about it?
They give the kind of certain answers that, yes, it's going to work, but it's something different when you get there. That's what we have experienced. But we say, I still want to believe that INEC is independent. I still want to believe that. Because if I have, if I think
like
of no, not that I doubt it. If I think otherwise, I won't be here because there will be no point. And you see, this is a process for Nigeria and for all us, or maybe the new political parties that are coming on stage.
It's really a job of work that you've got on your hands.
It is.
To win the governorship election in Oyo State. Yeah. Because, I mean, we've seen that the former governor, Laosun, we understand he's now going to be working with the APC candidate. But today, we've also seen that the ADC, ZLP, SDP have adopted Seyi Makinde as the party. So
of the second leading party that
so they all make themselves
let me
where does that leave you?
No, let me analyze that, what they call coalition, or whatever it's called. Akala was in APC before, so he's just returned back to the party he was. So there's nothing about coalition there. The ZLP guy and the
SDP and
ADC guys, they were all in APC, PDP before. So they've just gone back to the party they were. So it's not about them having a different party. They floated a party, maybe for a reason, because they couldn't get the gubernatorial ticket whilst they were under PDP.
SDP was in PDP?
No, SDP. You see, I'll tell you a story about SDP because I've spoken with Bolaji Ayorinde. You see, I was actually going. I was going for the ticket of SDP before I joined African Action Congress. And when I got there, I had it was revealed to me that the party was just being set up for the PDP candidate because he was there before. Hence the reason why I quitted the party, because I knew there was no going. You can't get through with that, because the party had been kind of structured to support. So it's no surprise to me that SDP has gone to join PDP.
Okay.
Everybody kind of knew this. And you see, the ADP candidate, a lot of people knew that he was not actually going to contest an election. So all these things are not new things.
How do you mean?
No, people just, when you study things that are around you and you study individuals, you begin to understand that there are some things after hanging around you for a while that I know that Chamberlain could do, Ayo would do that, even without you telling me.
Let's talk about Oyo State.
Yes.
How complex is Oyo State politically?
Politically, Oyo State is extremely complex. And you could see that if you look at the presidential election and you see the results of the president, you could see that Oyo State stood out.
It was close, but PDP took it.
Not close, but at least that was a clear winner.
Okay. When you say Oyo State stood out, what do you mean?
In terms of, we don't like to be pushed anyhow, and that's why the system is complex. And as far as I know, people are tired of the two ruling parties that we've had in the last 16 years.
So what's the difference? You are a politician. I mean, you could move from one political party to another. Just as you said, you moved from SDP to AAC.
I didn't move. I was studying. I was studying that party.
As far as anyone is concerned, from what you're saying, a politician is a politician. So what makes you different? Why would anyone trust you? You are new to the system.
I am new to the system, one. And when I started, I told you about 3 things that we need for the politicians. And I don't really see myself as a politician. I see myself as a state builder. I see myself as a community builder. And that's why I've gotten involved in this. Because I want to see the kind of Nigeria I've always dreamt about. I want to see the kind of state in Oyo State that I've always dreamt about. Oyo State, we've always been the first in everything. When you look at the first TV station in Oyo State, first teaching hospital in Oyo State, first skyscraper in Oyo State. Mention everything about being first in Nigeria. Oyo State, Ibadan especially, we are there. But where are we today? And it is as a result of the kind of leaders that we've had in the past. Because we've got to look at where we are going as a state. The things that are happening to us are not the things that are meant to be happening to us. Oyo State today should be right there in Lagos, for example. Not Ogun State coming in between us, because we have everything that we need in Oyo State. Talk of the land. We have 250,000 hectares of arable land. Why couldn't we put that to gainful agriculture projects? Mineral resources in abundance. Why haven't we done anything about it?
So what do you intend to do about it?
A lot. if you look at I don't call my program for your state manifesto, because politicians, they come with sugar-coated mouth, and they say wonderful things, but they never.
But you also say you want to focus on education.
I'm going to talk about that in a moment. They come with all those things, but they never, because number one, there are two issues. One, there's the issue of godfatherism. Number two, most of these guys don't have political will to carry out, because in themselves, they're not selfless, and they're not about the people. So the issue for me is, that's why I'm different, and that's why I believe that people hearing and people in Oyo State, they should know by now who their next governor should be. Not those who have spent so much money.
See,
because when they go in there...
I don't see much, Mr. Laosun, I don't see much difference between you and the next politician, because right now, I mean, we've spoken here for about 10, 15 minutes here. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, anyone listening now wants to say, okay, so what is the clear difference between Laosun or AOL as you go, and any other person? I mean, I'm waiting to hear that.
Okay, the clear difference between Laosun and any other person out there is Laosun will always fulfill his word. Go and ask everyone that's working.
And what is the word?
The word is whatever we promise to bring, which is free education up to secondary school level in Oyo State, we will do it. Jobs for our youth, we will do that. Assistance for all the small-scale businesses, we will do that. Agricultural development, we are going to do that. You see, these things are not rocket science.
You talked about the complex political setting in Oyo State.
Yeah.
And in that complexity is complex, because we understand, how some of these things usually go. There are 5 divisions in that state, and there are many hinterlands, in that area. How have you been able to, how have you been, or are you able to communicate with this? Because just as we said even before we came on air, not much of your communication is out there.
We're doing our best, because if you look at it, like we know now, politics is highly monetized, and for a young party like ours coming onto the scene, we do not have the money backs, which we are not accepting into our parties. We will not tamper with government money, even if in government, or even if we had worked anywhere else, which we've all done. We will not tamper and manipulate things to our own advantage. So in terms of what we have been able to, in the last 1 week, I've been over all the 5 zones, meeting with everyone, because as a result of the last election, and as a result of all these coalition talks going on, and there have been rumors that, Laosun has joined with this, Laosun has joined with that. So I needed to go over there and clear out with everyone that, no, Laosun is still with AAC, and by God's grace, we believe that impossible could happen in Oyo State. And like my father taught me, impossible is the word of a fool. So there's nothing impossible at this moment. Nobody can say they've got their names written on that seat yet, because it's going to be about the people. I know we've had so many stories about people saying on the day there's going to cause a lot of disruption, using armed forces, using soldiers, using police and all these things. But you see, we've seen in the past, or in other places in the world, because I've had the opportunity to live and work in 5 continents of the world. And I can tell you that there'll be surprises in Oyo State, because Oyo State is always full of surprises. We've seen it happen. There were times, number one, that we said nobody will serve for 2 terms. This current government changed it.
What do you think this surprise will be?
A surprise will be Laosun being governor. It is going to happen.
After all, you say possibility is the word of a fool.
Yeah.
Now, you have experience in finance management, agriculture entrepreneur, data management. You've been away for a while. So do you think that you'll be able to connect with the people such that they can trust you to elect you as governor?
Definitely. One thing about me is that I'm a people's person. I get into a place, before you know it, I'm like part of the furniture. It's a natural gifting, not something that I work for. It just happens because I care more about the people that I'm with than about myself.
But you talk about the role that money plays in this.
Yeah.
Those 2 leading parties, they've got huge, well, at least they've got some deep pockets, relatively.
Yeah, they've got bigger pockets, yeah.
So, do you see yourself withstanding, matching them?
At the end of the day, we know that money plays a lot of, it affects the way voting goes now. However, I can say that it's not the money that, at least, no matter if you have the two parties that are spending as if money is going out of fashion in your states at the moment, one of them is definitely going to lose at the worst case scenario. But I see the two of them losing this time around because you see there's a prediction that I hold on to that money will fail in this election in your state. And it's got to fail.
Two of them losing to AAC?
To AAC. Yeah, you will see it. I see that happening. And if it doesn't, see, I don't want to say about next time because I know the future starts now. And future is about tomorrow. So in terms of money, I'm not so much concentrated on the money. We are trying to reach the people who are going to vote, to let them know that this is about your future. This is about your child's education. This is about your welfare. This is about your hospitals.
What kind of alliances do you have compared to the alliances that these other political parties have? What kind of alliances have you been able to
Like you said, you see, the word alliance, I won't accept it as an alliance because these guys came out and went back in. So it's not an alliance.
That's fine. What kind of alliance do you have?
Okay. Has anybody come out and gone back into you?
No, we haven't lost anyone because we maintain our integrity, so to say. And most of the people around us, they do have integrity. In terms of people that we're talking to, I've been in many places even where other gubernatorial candidates have walked up to me and taken my number because they do not have the capacity to run election up to the level that we are. I'm not saying that we are that rich or we have the money, but we have this faith that we could do this and we're stepping out on that. And with the little that we are seeing the impacts. And everywhere we have been, I can tell you, apart from those who are requesting for money, I have been pointed out as the governor that should be.
Let me just ask, I mean, if it's about, you letting the people know, teaching, getting the experience, why didn't you go for either senatorial position or House of Reps so that you can also get a lot deeper and influence a lot more people
we were party
in your state? With AAC.
That's not the kind of calling that I have got. My calling is, because if you're going to change, and if you're going to change what is on ground, you've got to have that kind of level of leadership and authority. With Senate, I'm out in Abuja. I do all that a senator does at the moment. I have kids that I'm sponsoring in university, secondary school. I have many young businesses that I've set up, not for myself, for the guys that are doing it. So for the kind of future that I want my state to have, I don't think it's a senatorial seat that gives me that opportunity. It's from a top leadership point of view where I can actually lead by example, show people this is how we're going. And I know that we have, as a party and as an individual, I know we have the stuff to make that happen.
Okay, we wish you all the best. And
thank you very much.
Hope you'll get the surprise that you say will happen in your state.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for coming on today. That's the show. We thank you all for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
And I'm Ayo Makine. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. I'm Maokwe Ogun Yusuf.